this point, I gotta de-pin it to be able to get it through here. So right, that notch like sits in there and back through here, and then click it all together underneath here, and then stuff it back up in there. It looks super, super nice. Went with this piece here that cleaned it up a ton. What's going on, YouTube? It's Jacob from It's Leather Weather. I'm not sure if you can see my breath, but it is freezing outside. 17 degrees is the temperature. Feels like -6, and it's gonna be that way for a very, very long time. So I finally got some cool stuff to install today. Risers from Thrashin and my bars from Thrashin. I got the 6.5 with the pullback, and I also got the mid-bend bars. Some little things to add to my garage. This isn't super permanent because I don't plan to live here forever, but for now, it'll do. Yeah, I'm gonna try and install these, or at least get a little bit started. This might be a couple day thing. Look at that. Because I'm so tedious about my losing parts and organizing stuff, to find where my riser bolts went that I undid probably 2 months ago. Just sift through my little bags here and found them. And I wrote the size on there so I don't have to dig through my sockets and try and figure out which ones they are. These should have to line up in order to be straight. Figuring out, I thought I was gonna be able to cheat a little bit and just take apart my handlebar controls and fish them, kind of like unpin everything through here and then just fish it through this way and go that way, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So I found everything was kind of getting hung up on something. So there's like this little, like, I don't know what you want to call this thing. I don't know, it kind of like blocks the bottom of the frame from moisture and stuff getting in there, or animals and stuff. So I pulled this out and I've got a lot more ability to kind of yank everything out of here, it feels like. But everything's kind of really tightly wrapped up in here, so I'm gonna just keep kind of helping it and pushing it along and trying to get everything out of here. All right, that wasn't too bad. A lot less difficult than I thought. So you pull that bottom piece out. This is a 2009 Dyna. Pull that bottom piece out, and then all of your harnesses and everything are just sitting right here. So I just pulled them out this way, unplugged it. So I should be able to just pull everything out of here. No, there's no way I'm fitting all that shit through there. So I think at this point I gotta de-pin it to be able to get it through here, but I gotta make sure I'm pulling all the right shit through. Disconnect my turn signal stuff down here, the purple, black, and blue. Pull that shit through. I'm gonna try and do this one side at a time so I don't get no wires or anything confused, but I think I'm gonna have to de-pin this bottom half right now. Take a pic. Okay, so what it looks like, there's these two little, those center pieces, those two little D-shaped thingies. You have to get like a pick or something underneath that and pull it towards you. Then you have to get something super tiny, like a clothespin. I've tried everything else, like a clothespin or something, and you basically just shove it into those little tinier holes above it, and then push it all the way through, and then you pull out the wire that you want. All right, I'm gonna try and record myself being off doing this shit. So I'm going for this top orange one. Oh, you gotta push the wire you want forward first. All the way forward. Then put your, oh, yep, I think we're good. What the f? Oh, I hate this shit. Come on. This is stupid as ugh. Alright, that one, we'll try a different one. Okay, well, that one went easy. Okay, that took me like 2 hours. Absolutely no reason I should have taken me this long, because it should not be this difficult, but god, dude, you need to have some little tiny bullshit like this. The orange and blue and yellow gave me a horrible time, and I had to go from the back side and try and push them down, and it was just a nightmare. Holy now I can finally pull this through and start my my wiring process. God, you need to slide. You're gonna slide all this out of here, but there's a certain orientation that these want to come out. You kind of can see it ish as you do it on the floor so that I can lose it later. Alright, I'm just gonna twist these together to try and keep them as one shape somewhat. Send it through. I'm not sure exactly where we left off with the internal wiring. I was able to take my signal harnesses and stuff with some zip ties and some tape and everything, and was able to fish them through. So what I'm gonna do now is I ended up finishing this side for the main controls and everything, and I got my Thrashin perch clamps on there. Super sweet. So none of this is all completely done. It still needs to be set up and angled and whatnot. But the last thing I need to do on this side is to redo the wiring. So I'm gonna mount up my new turn signal, connect my wiring and splice it in right here, and then run it through the trees and connect it back up to my harnesses down here. So what I did is I took some string and I vacuumed it through the line, since I already have all this stuff ran. But I took some twine and threw some WD-40 in here so it's lubricated. Vacuumed it through each side of the bar, and then this is my new turn signal. So I'm gonna pull this all the way through. Hopefully this goes the way I want it to go and doesn't get McFucked. So I'm gonna be taking, this is like a heat shrink, like expandable thing. So I'm gonna throw all my wires inside here so that they sit all nice and tight inside. And I'm gonna have it go through the tree so all the wires are nice and collected, and there's just one piece rather than multiple wires hanging out. So I took this is my clutch side signal, and then well, this is gonna get wired down here. And this is my clutch side control harness, which goes back into this piece here. So I'm gonna try and put this other control back together and wire up, or put this signal on, and then we're gonna wire everything back together and tuck it all back up. And I've got this one. All right. So right, that notch like sits in there, and put the perches on first to kind of get it set up where I kind of want it, and then put the controller clamshell on.
You only have one bolt on this style?
No, there's a couple. Oh, yeah. There's a couple that hold it together. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, since I've got everything rerouted the way I need it to be, I'm gonna repin my connectors and start connecting everything back together. So I took a video and was able to see where everything goes. So I've got this little piece goes right there. There's an orange like sealant in there, but you can see orange with the white, yellow, blue, and then it's white. And then if I back up my video, on the other half, it looks like it's black, red with black, yellow, white, and purple. But take a picture for yourself so you can remember too. Okay, everything is rewired, put together, so then that's gonna connect to here, but this has to get routed through inside the neck of the frame. Then I'm gonna go on the other side and repin the other side now, so I can reroute everything all as one. All right, looking back at my pictures here, I've got, if I look at it like the same position, looks like the black with the red and white and brown and then solid white go on the top this direction, and then I flip it over and orange with white, red with yellow, and then gray go on this half, the side that doesn't have the connection. So now I'm gonna route everything back through here and then click it all together underneath here and then stuff it back up in there. So I've got my dummy light kind of set where it needs to be or where I want it. So that was never gonna fit inside there because you would have to de-pin all of this, and I'm not doing that. Or you would have had to run it through first, but too late now, so whatever. But I'm gonna route this back through into here. I got my signals rewired back up. So this is the signal harness, goes to here, and it's gonna plug into right there. And then this is our main harness for the controls, which is gonna plug into there, but it's all gotta get routed through this thing first, so that way when you pull it all through, the final piece is this, and you don't have a bunch of wires hanging out. They're all tucked inside this little spot right here. So to finish this thing, it depends on if you're using the signals like I was or not, but I essentially wired up my signal to go inside of there, how it should be. So it goes through the bars and everything, goes through here, and it ends up down here, and I reconnected my signals and everything and soldered it all and electrical taped it. Made sure everything was run on the outside or on the inside of the clutch cable, so that way they're not interfering at all when this turns or left or right. Just basically ran everything through. You gotta run it all through. It comes out the bottom here like we had with this piece. You reconnect everything, shove it all through, reconnect everything. The only thing you should have left over if your gas tank is off is this thing. And for mine being an FXDL or a lowrider, I have these two pieces left, which is for my RPM and my speedometer. If you're keeping your dummy light, which is like your neutral and your brights and turn signals, you've got that left over as well. That plugs in there. That's your big main harness. It's orange. So I'm gonna mount mine something like this, I think. Something like this, somewhere around there. I don't know yet entirely, or maybe I'll pull it through and have it flat down here. I don't know what I want to do yet, but it's gonna go somewhere. And same thing on the opposite side. It's all the same. You gotta follow your, what's it called? Follow everything in. I had a really tough time getting all the wires and stuff in here. It is not easy fitting it all in there, but it does all fit, and it took me a while. It took me a while to get all that shit in there. It looks super, super nice, and I'm glad I went with this piece here that actually cleaned it up a ton. Looks really nice. So the next video I've got coming should be doing my rocker boxes, upper and lower gasket. That's a little bit more in-depth than this is, to an extent, I guess, whatever you want to qualify in-depth as. But this was Jacob from It's Leather Weather. I'll see you in my next video.